What's up, guys? It's your boy Will Walford here with
Been
another
a minute,
episode.
William. Been a
What I
minute.
do? What I do?
I
What
mean,
I do?
not show up, really?
Look, I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm right here. Like,
Now. All right.
okay,
I'm
okay, okay,
I'm
okay,
hamstringing your intro. So all right,
okay,
since you're
okay.
here, you get to do it. Tell us about a relatively mathematical
Well, okay, no,
A
no,
redemption.
no, no.
mathematically
This,
perfect
this is
redemption.
There we
just the
go.
intro bit. I will pass the baton of this story summary line to Marie, where she will confusingly read the summary as I watch her face because today's episode was like, oh
Was
my God.
bananas, and actually, I'm gonna throw Keith under that bus.
Anyway, intro. Hi everyone. My name's William. That's Marie. As you
Hi,
can
guys.
tell, that's like my sis over there. And then we have our nephew down there, Keith. Hi, Keith.
Nephew?
Look, I had to think of something. Okay.
I mean, this is getting into some weird Brady Bunch shit now.
I
Like
know.
what?
Right?
What?
Yeah.
This sounds like my cousin Oliver.
Ooh, no.
Yeah.
Or it.
Or
Oh.
it. Or it.
Yeah, I cut the
Anyway,
hair, so no,
Yeah.
that wasn't it.
Right. So let's roll that beautiful bean footage. It never gets old. It just never gets old.
It really doesn't.
It really
Doesn't.
It really doesn't.
I chair dance every time.
I'm like, yeah, I guys, you can't see this, but it's like there's like 3 boxes down here under the big screen where we can see it, and I can see everyone, and she can see me. I don't know if Keith can see us or not, but yeah, totally. So anyway, so about today's episode, what in the world? I kind of wish Marco was here right now.
I know.
But
I
I'm
know.
sure he'll see it sooner or later. Keith, hello, one person that just logged on. So, hi.
Welcome to the weirdest of parties.
Yes, the weirdest of parties where it is unacceptable to be normal.
Did anybody else feel like when watching this episode that we'd gone back to like a certain flavor of Hanna-Barbera?
I thought you said you didn't
animation.
See it.
To a certain degree, I think so. Yeah.
Because the bird people, particularly like the
Arior, yes.
Arior, yeah. They remind me very much. Like I fully expect to see like a Thundercat, like
yes,
like wander across the
yes.
screen.
I was definitely getting a Thundercats feel for this. So. Yeah.
Right? I mean, look at this, guys. Look at this.
Yes.
This is the bird version of Lion-O right here.
Oh, absolutely.
Thundercats!
I ain't gonna lie, I felt bad for him. I did. I really did.
Rana? Like why?
Because when you read the summary, you'll see why.
No. Like, I mean, yes, there's a questionable romance, but like we've all been there.
Questionable.
We've all been there.
I mean,
maybe not there. Maybe not there.
Would it be insulting to Peanut Hamper if I called it glorified masturbation?
I don't even know how to respond to that. Like, I just don't.
I ain't touching that.
Nope. I'm gonna sit right here. I'm gonna sit right here and pretend that didn't happen.
No, take the bait.
No.
Really? No.
Nothing involving baiting tonight. No.
Dang it.
No queer
Okay.
baiting, no masturbating, no nothing, no baiting.
Yeah, none of that. So, all right. So, who's gonna Keith? Are you doing a
Keith
summary?
is doing the
for us?
summary.
Yes, I've got the summary action for you. This is
All
a
right. Give us the summary.
mathematically
Tell us what happened.
this is a mathematically perfect redemption, the 7th episode of season 3 of Lower Decks. It begins going back to the end of season 1, No Small Parts, where we were introduced to Peanut Hamper, a name that isn't completely made up, as Marie told us previously. The exocomp who joined the Cerritos and then pieced out when it became time to actually do the hard work. Now we actually follow from her perspective as she is abandoned by the Cerritos and the Titan, and then sort of makes her own ship to try to make it back to some semblance of civilization until the Drachmani show up, who the scavengers that had previously shown up in season 2, and try to take her. But she is able to get out to Areolus, a planet populated by the Aerior, a giant bird creatures. And in fact,
Also, I had a moment with Areolus as well, by the way,
yes, yeah,
because I'm
well,
5.
not just the term, but the fact that even Boimler had a problem saying it when they eventually came on that planet.
Right.
Yes. So there she is taken in by the Aerior, specifically their leader Kaltoris, and nursed back to health. And then through the use of her technology, even though this appears to be a more primitive species, she is able to heal everyone and then become able to draw the favor of the son of Kaltoris, the chief, Rada, until they eventually come upon their own romantic relationship. And
Yep, you heard that right, people.
yes, a giant bird creature and an exocomp. Yes. And yes, they do go there and trying to discuss how exactly the parts line up. So then, and as they are about to consummate their relationship, he shows them that they in fact had technology on their planet years before, but they had shunned it. And that them accepting in Peanut Hamper is them going back to the technology that they had long abandoned. Now, on their wedding day, the Drachmani show up, and Peanut Hamper then steps up to do what she would not do in No Small Parts and save the day in a similar manner to how Shax and Rutherford saved the day back then. And just as she attacks the Drachmani, she also calls for the Cerritos so that they show up just in time to see her take the Drachmani down. Captain Freeman, Tendi, and Shax then beam down to the planet, where she begins to make the case, but then the Drachmani show up, having been to one of the ships of the Aerior that was hidden underside that they were trying to claim as salvage, and they let out Peanut Hamper's little secret. She had messaged them, telling them, "Come get these ships that are basically garbage," with the whole idea that she was going to put her life on the line to try to get in good with Starfleet again after she went AWOL back in when she left the Cerritos year and a half prior. But so then the Drachmani, having taken claim of the Aerior ship, which is seemingly, even though it's 1,000 years old, is more powerful than the Cerritos.
And also, somehow he manages to figure out how to fly it.
Yes, the Drachmani are able to figure out how to fly it. A return of J.G. Hertzler, by the way, voicing the Drachmani leader. And then, in his grief, Arata, knowing that the whole relationship was a lie, he then is able to activate the Aerior mothership and take down the fighter being powered by the Drachmani. A man who only knowing of technology is his relationship with, essentially, is a sort of Instapot.
I don't even know where you're going to go.
Sort of an Instapot for as a put an exocomp. I don't know.
Like an instant pot with a multi-tool attachment. Like,
yeah. But he is able to power the math mothership and bring down the Drachmanis. And then Peanut Hamper tried to say, "Oh yeah, this was my plan all along," only to find that she is then confined to the Daystrom Institute in, as we've seen last season, the wall of evil computers, where she makes a new friend, Agamus, the return of Jeffrey Combs once again to our
Yep.
Star Trek hearts. So not only did we get a return of J.G. Hertzer, we get a return of Jeffrey Combs as well.
Right. I mean, both of them are Easter eggs in and of themselves. It's sort of like every time Sigourney Weaver now shows up, like I'm just like, oh, it's Ripley. Gotcha.
Yeah, alien reference. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this was kind of bananas, and I really did feel a little bit like like I was sitting there watching Saturday morning cartoons.
Well,
You
this
know,
was the first time we did not get the proper Lower Decks opening sequence. It
This
was a
was
whole cinematic thing following
yeah. This
Peanut
was
Hamper's journey.
this was pretty much like the opening sequence was pretty much I won't call it a scrapyard, but like what's it called when the wreckage of the
debris field.
Packlet ships after the Titan did a number on them from saving the Cerritos.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty much the opening. It was just we were just going through the junkyard, which symbolizes as time passing by, which we don't know how much time went by. We're gonna assume for right now 2 years since we're in season 3.
Yeah, she had quite a few tick marks on the wall there. So
Mhm.
Yeah. So pulled enough scraps together to build a nacelle and a Constitution class deflector dish. Connected in one. No saucer section, no nothing. Just
the dish.
just the dish and a inward rigged nacelle. So like
and of course a stone friend, Sophie, akin to Wilson from the Castaway movie starring Tom Hanks.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Boimler had a talking soccer ball at some point in season 1. Or it was during the Agamus episode. No,
Maybe.
No,
I don't
never.
remember.
It doesn't matter.
I mean, mostly because, honest to God, this episode just kind of scrambled my brain, and I'm just like, what? Where?
I told Keith earlier. I said I don't have any issue with it. I don't. But if you wanted to say WTF in one episode, it was this.
Yes.
It was this. Like, this one was good because it doesn't necessarily, unless we'll find out in the next 2-3 episodes, this one doesn't necessarily tie to this season. It just so happens to happen this season, if that makes any sense. Like it's like okay, we're not on the Cerritos right now. We are wondering what happened to Peanut Hamper. What's going on with her or them?
Right.
Like,
I mean, this is very much and now for something completely different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Deal.
Yeah. Because
and that's fine. That's fine. It was just very weird, and it's very weird to have and now for something completely different kind of episode when the seasons are so short.
Mm-hmm.
Only 10 episodes, which I still think is some honky tonk bullshit. But anyway, so
as the resident honky tonk, I feel very sad about that.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I just hate 10 episodes. It's not enough. It's not enough.
It's not. But yeah, it's just kind of it's just bananas, and it's like, I mean, I had to I kind of had to back out and come back in and be like, am I in the right app here?
Well, what's interesting too is in the lead up to the episode, we found out the name of the episode a couple weeks ago, A Mathematically Perfect Redemption. And it is reference to the fact that she came up with the name saying a mathematically perfect name, which Agamus then also mentions at the end of the episode that Peanut Hamper is a mathematically perfect name. The lead up to, they told us the tagline was a wayward Starfleet ensign struggles to find a path to redemption. Now, based on what we've seen in the past couple episodes, that could mean Mariner. And they only released one image for this week's episode. And that was the shot of the Cerritos crew on the bridge with Mariner at the ops and Boimler at the helm. And surprisingly, Rutherford and Tendi standing next to Shax at the tactical station.
Speaking of Mariner, I don't recall seeing her.
Yeah, she was there,
Where?
just on the at the op station
Yeah.
on the bridge.
Like,
Oh! I thought she
which
hated
is
me.
kind of, which I gotta say, it's kind of nice. It was refreshing to not have it be a Mariner centric episode.
Oh, by the way, we did get an answer as to why Rutherford lost all of his memories from season 1, because they left his implant in the wreckage of the Packlet ship. We saw it's still floating there.
It was floating.
Right.
That's why it was in there, and because we know about his dual, or was his dual personality, like, okay, so really that kind of well, is it possible to say that at some point we might be able to get that thing back and get those memories back of his past self?
Well, it would just be his memories from season 1. His memories from
Yeah.
his past self are buried in his subconscious.
Right. While I think it's perfectly acceptable and likely, I don't think it's, and likely that it could happen. I don't think it's going to, because I think that's just too funny, and they're just gonna let that joke lie.
Mhm.
But and kind of nod at it, because I
Right.
think really what the Rutherford arc is going to be is figuring out this mysterious, like, TNG era uniform wearing Starfleet guy.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay.
I think that's where we're going for that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I sat there on my couch watching my TV as I'm having my food. And because you have to watch these things in order. You have to watch Star Trek, then She-Hulk, then Andor. Okay, it just has to be in that order.
I like that there's a rule here.
Oh yeah, every Thursday.
I haven't watched the other 2 yet, but that's because, as I said off screen, Disney trouble.
Yeah, we'll definitely get that hashed out. But I'm glad that we got to see Peanut Hamper back, and I'm glad. Well, if you think about it, this wasn't even like an A-B story. This was like a straight up.
Yeah, no, this was literally like I said, this literally felt like sitting there with an old Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
Right. The reason I took not issue with it, but I was blown away, was because I've been called too nice, and I've been called a little too encouraging, maybe a little bit naive. So I was mad at myself for believing Hamper at the wedding day. I was mad. I was like, oh my God, she changed. This is so cool. You fucking bitch. horrible individual. You suck. As a matter of fact, I hope when so at the very end, she threatened to call the Borg and was in the middle of sending out a transmission signal. I'm hoping that Mariner will go out of her. Well, she's at the Daystrom Institute now, but I feel like if there were like another story to this, Mariner would be like, all right, here, take it to the Borg, and the Queen would be like, we don't want this.
Yeah, she's a problem.
And it's like, dang,
she's a problem.
When you're just so horrible that even the devil doesn't want you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But I gotta say this, and a number of commentators have actually made this observation. What I really like about having Peanut Hamper turn out to be just a complete and utter narcissist is that we don't have that whole civilized savior trope here. Because Rada actually saves his people.
Yeah.
Right. This is not Starfleet coming in and saving the, poor indigenous people. No. It's the indigenous people kicking ass and taking names, which I think is really great. And that really is kind of a trope that Star Trek struggles with.
So, okay. Other than okay. So I have a question. I have a question for Keith.
Okay.
So other than the Naked Now episode that we had back in season 1, which I don't think anyone really did anything, they were just naked. Is this technically the first sex scene of Lower Decks?
If you don't count the occasional forays into Shaq's Tana land.
I mean, yeah. But I mean, they actually. I won't say they show. Well,
they only showed it during that naked time bit in last season. Yeah.
Okay.
Because we seemed like we were getting hints that it was going to happen, like Boimler and his girlfriend, Cupid's from Cupid's Air and Arrow.
Oh yeah, and then there was that
he was naked on the platform waiting for her,
and then there's that engineer who's a prince, and he had to lose his virginity in order
to... Right, and then the whole point of the episode was for him not to have sex.
Right, to not have sex, which he didn't, So,
and then of course there's constant rumblings about you see Ransom about to, even though one of them was a salt monster. But there are worse aliens.
So they had like two. The second one wasn't as visual-esque, but the first they definitely they went. It makes you wonder. It makes you wonder how they did it.
Okay. So like the Mugato Gumato episode, they make some pretty raunchy jokes about what the Mugato are up to, right?
Right.
And I got to admit, like having now also like taken my children to the zoo and caught some monkeys in flagrante delicto, I understand that impulse better now. Not gonna lie, because like we're definitely watching by and we're like, all right, nature's gonna nature, just keep on going. And the boys are like, what is he doing, bouncing on that other monkey? And we're like, nothing. We're going. We're just going.
Just having a good time,
right? I mean, yeah, but I think this is the first time actually, and this is one of the things I like about the episode, right, is that we have a discussion of sexual health, right? Like, I mean, there's always this kind of fade to black where everybody's automatically supposed to know that they have coordinating bits, and there's never really a discussion of, hey, all right, different species might do different things, let's talk about AIDS. Like, I mean, like not the disease, but like marital AIDS.
So that has been referenced before.
Yeah, but we've never really had that sort of like explicitly spelled out.
When Odo had sex with the female changeling, he made sure it was known that there were similarities in certain species. And then in Enterprise, we found out that Vulcans and humans could couple, but with help. And that
can we talk about this? Can we talk about this? So I understood where Nerys was coming from, knowing that linking with another changeling could be interpreted as the closest thing to sex. Okay, because it's you're literally together. Yeah. So I get that. So knowing that.
Also, I love it. Like somebody keeps coming in to watch, and then somebody and leaving about sex, and they'll disappear.
Like, because it's not on my page. It's not. But anyway, boo-hoo for them. So okay, so now that we know that Peanut Hamper was playing the Eagle Man, which I really felt sorry for him. I'm sorry. I would have taken it. I would have taken him out. Like, bro, come on, let's go have a drink. Like you. I feel like you need this right now. Just don't eat me. But anyway. So knowing that they had multiple sexual encounters and Peanut Hamper is a machine, okay, smart ass machine, but a machine at the end of the day. Knowing that she was playing him, did they really have sex or was it just glorified masturbation?
Well, did Yar have sex with Data?
She had sex with Data, but did Data have sex with Yar? Or was he just there?
So, okay, are you asking if sexual contact is restricted to biological entities?
Sure. We're 24 minutes in. I need something to talk about.
On the list of things I expected to talk about today, this is nowhere on my list. Look, man.
I can pull stuff together that you never thought of and be like, okay.
But I gotta tell you, I don't think, especially in the 24th century, that we get to say that sex is the exclusive realm of biological entities, because like we are now dealing with obviously sentient machines, and if sentient machines are capable of having an emotional connection, um, theoretically they could be capable of experiencing desire and wanting to please their partner and wanting to get into that aspect of a relationship. I mean, there's a reason Data was fully functional.
Especially by the time he hit up the Borg Queen.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I keep forgetting they did the dude.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but they did it.
And the complication of that, because she's cybernetic, biological cybernetic.
And she had a hold on him anyway. So
that was sex, but that was like power sex, and so that
right.
becomes really sketchy.
So let's take that, right?
Okay. Now we're going weirder. All right.
Okay, let's take that and put it to Peanut Hamper. Could that not be power sex as well, since technically she was playing him the entire time?
Considering that she was willing to do it only when she found out that they had the technology, yeah, I definitely think she started working on her plan right then.
So I don't think that's power sex, because I think that's a different dynamic.
So what's the difference?
The dynamic with the dynamic between the Borg Queen and Data in First Contact is very much a power dynamic. Like, she has the power and he has none. And so she's actually using that as not quite a torture device, but definitely like.
Well, he had some power because he had the codes to access the ship.
Yeah, he had the code.
Right. But again, the power imbalance there is much larger. The power imbalance between Peanut Hamper and Rada is not that, even though we know that she's playing him to ultimately get what she wants, which is technology that's buried beneath their feet, right? So I'd argue that's not power sex. I'd argue it's manipulative.
Oh, definitely.
For sure. 100%.
So it's manipulative, but it's not power sex.
No, because again, like, the power imbalance, the perceived power imbalance isn't there.
So one is manipulative, the other one is power. Can we agree that they are both seduced?
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, seduction is not necessarily limited to one or the other, right?
Okay. Right.
And seduction isn't even necessarily limited to negative purposes either. Let's get that
right.
Let's get that out in the open.
Okay.
But
so
what Peanut Hamper is doing is manipulation, and is convincing Rada that there's a relationship where there is none.
Go ahead, Keith.
One interesting thing that comes to mind real quick before we get too far away from it. I probably should have brought this up when we talked about Generations a few weeks ago. I read a review of Generations before it came out.
Ooh.
That was written by somebody who either saw an alternate cut of the movie or didn't actually see the movie, because it inferred that, remember when Picard is negotiating for him to be exchanged for Geordi,
yeah,
that he could be burned out of the service, but Data says, "Let me go." In the review I read, it stated that Data was transferred to the Klingon ship, in which he then seduced the Duras sisters in order to then save the day.
Mandela.
Yeah, that's a very, very different movie.
Yeah, I swear, I read that this was an article that had that, but it didn't know anything about the Nexus either. It surmised that when Picard meets with Kirk, it was on the holodeck.
The holodeck?
Yes.
There was no the holodeck. The only time we saw the holodeck was at the beginning of the film.
Yeah, my vote is legit. Like, this was not a different cut of the film. This was just somebody who hadn't seen it, or had seen like bits and pieces of it. Maybe like somebody cammed it.
someone told a non-Trekkie or non-Trekker,
this might have been in the Star Trek Communicator. I'd have to.
I would like to do an analysis of this review.
I'll have to try to find it.
Please do.
But the fact that the inference was made there in that article, and then in the next movie we do get Data's seduction, which, yes, she's seducing him, but he's also playing her because he's letting her think that he's giving in.
And there is a holodeck scene in First Contact. But Data didn't meet him there. Picard was there.
Right. No, but it was just, like I said, the person obviously didn't know about the Nexus and that Kirk would be there. And So the belief was that Picard would talk to Kirk in the holodeck to get an insight into having met Soren in the previous time.
Yeah, so
But Kirk
that's bananas and a
Soren,
very different movie than
Yes.
the one I saw. Very, very different.
Yeah, to say the least, because y'all know, y'all know how
I know.
feel.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
All right, sorry for taking us off track. There.
No, I would love to read, and I feel like this is suitable for a Fight the Patriarchy episode because whoever wrote it is blasphemous. And I feel like I won't call that person the scum of the earth because I just want to read. I want to read it for myself and figure out, like, okay, what was your thought process when you wrote this, and did you write anything else? Because now I want to know what else you wrote so I can see if did I see the movie? Is this person like a movie critic or something, or a wannabe movie critic? I don't know. Like, I'm kind of curious because Generations is my favorite movie of all time. Like.
Sorry, my dog decided he wanted to get right behind me and shake and make a lot of noise.
Oh,
go.
Hello, Pepper. All right. So, going back to a mathematically perfect redemption.
Right.
Yeah, I kept on trying to figure out what material it was copying. Is this takeoff of Avatar, Dances with Wolves? Which
I don't really know that it is, and that's actually where I wanted to go. So thank you for that lead in. Awesome.
You're welcome.
Keith. We're in sync, man. We're in sync. What I liked about one of the other things I liked about this episode is that it stands on its own. It's not. I really feel like this is dealing with themes and telling a story that's not based on making a reference, and that's why we don't have nearly the level of Easter eggs that we've had. In fact, like, I think on this show we've already talked about all of them, from J.G. Hertzler to Jeffrey Combs to Agimus, like all of that business, and that's really it.
There's a reference to the Aurelians,
right?
He says they are the poor man's Aurelians, call back to the animated series,
right? But like, this is not, I mean, especially coming off of the last couple of episodes, especially last episode, Hear All Trust Nothing, right? We're definitely just chucking all of that, and we're going to a completely new planet, dealing with a completely new species, and doing completely new shit, and that's fantastic. And it was funny. It was funny. It's nice to see Lower Decks kind of spreading its wings a little. Like, you don't have to. I mean, everything doesn't have to be a callback, right?
Spread your wings, pun intended on that one.
Yeah, 150%. Because I'm going to the special hell.
Hello, William.
But yeah, I think that was really like one of the biggest strengths of the episode, despite the fact that I'm sitting there like, again, where is Lion-O here? Or Braveheart or whatever.
So, what did you think about today's episode, Jason?
I thought it was really weird. I thought it was interesting that they did an episode all about Peanut Hamper.
Yes,
but it was pretty cool at the end of the day.
Okay.
I thought the story arc of it was kind of weird. How there was no actual story arc for her at all. She didn't learn anything.
It was just an A plot. It wasn't an A plot or a B plot. It was just A plot.
Yeah, it was just an A plot.
No, she doesn't have a story arc. She, in fact, manages to eschew every opportunity for redemption she gets.
So she's the Gul Dukat of Lower Decks.
I mean, that would be a pretty cool concept if, she teamed up and somehow broke out the other bad guy machines and then had a whole Terminator-esque thing, and then when she becomes the bad guy at the end of season 3. I don't know. Like, I
really feel like we're in a different franchise now.
Yeah.
Like I said, we will think of
across
stuff
the streams, man.
Right. You don't cross the streams. Tell them about the Twinkie.
What about the Trinkie, Ray?
Mm.
I'm actually kind of lost. The what?
They did cross the stream. But they did cross. Oh, are you lost?
They did. They do.
I am lost.
William, if someone asks if you are a god, you say
yes.
Yeah.
almost as good as like earlier when you and I were talking about Cousin It, and he's looking at us like, "What the hell?" Because he had no idea.
It's a little fun, isn't it? It's a little fun.
Okay, what's the backstory? Okay, because
so the Ghostbusters, the original '80s Ghostbusters.
Oh, yes.
Come on.
Have you seen it before?
I've seen the original Ghostbusters. I haven't seen the Afterlife that just came out.
I've not seen the new one, but if you were like our age, you would have seen it like
a billion and a half times.
I saw because there are two original Ghostbusters movies, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Before the remake and before the remake of the remake. So actually, no, the sequel of the first two, technically, because I still need to watch.
Ghostbusters Answer the Call is a alternate universe Ghostbusters.
Right.
So that's an alternate universe.
Yes.
Where Chris Hemsworth is the bad guy when he started off.
Well,
he's not the bad guy, actually, and Chris Hemsworth, I think, is one of the best parts of that movie.
Wasn't he a secretary?
What's her name? He was a secretary. He was a secretary, and he was not very clever, and it was amazing.
So was he trying to adhere to some sort of stereotype? You know, like dumb blondes.
Yeah, he was definitely the memo.
Stereotype, I think.
Oh yeah, like 100%. He was definitely channeling his inner dumb blonde, and was like for sure milking it and having the time of his life.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a whole dance scene
very
that they cut, but they thought it was so good they ended up putting it in the credits.
Yeah. It is amazing.
It is. Yes. William, you will love it. Please.
It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. And it's seriously, I love, controversial opinion, but I really enjoyed that movie.
Okay.
Kate McKinnon was fantastic.
I have not seen it yet because sadly I kind of forgot about it. But I will. I saw scenes. But
it kind of got the same level of hate that She-Hulk is getting.
Well, I mean, I knew that was coming. That was coming. Like, and that's fine. I actually genuinely forgot. Like, I bet you that movie's probably been out 4 years now. Like
6.
See.
No, but for different reasons. I mean, I feel like She-Hulk wasn't given like. They just made it a joke. Like William said, you saw my post on Facebook. I was like, "Is this show?"
I saw.
I mean, but to be fair, She-Hulk has been playing games and been a joke since forever.
Yeah,
since the 80s when the comics came out. I was before we all got on, I was telling William that there are literal situations where She-Hulk will like punch through panels because she thinks the storyline is dumb and will just like move on.
So what I'm paying attention to, Jason, have you seen today's episode of She-Hulk?
I did not see today's. So.
I will not spoil it then. So they introduced a prominent male character that we have not seen in a long while actually. And so I'm
wearing a golden dome of some sort.
So
I haven't seen it yet either. So
okay, good. So yeah, well, there's no spoilers and 0 people watching at this moment. I'm
this episode is bad when we can't even get Marco to watch.
I know, right? I am looking forward to see.
Weathers was dead the whole time.
I'm looking forward to see the reviews to see how people react, so that way I can see, do people genuinely think that this show needs work, or do you just miss some of our original, superheroes from the last 12-15 years? So,
well, my thing is she doesn't have any villains in the show. I mean, she got that one lady.
I mean, she made it clear she doesn't want any.
But just because you don't want any doesn't mean they don't.
Right. And she also, and Hulk said the exact same thing to her. You may not want to be a superhero, but whether you like it or not, you are.
Right.
So, Jason, it might please you to know that she does put on the superhero suit in this particular episode.
Cool.
Sorry, guys, I haven't eaten.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. I'm thirsty. So, but anyway, okay.
I'm preloaded with bourbon, so we're all right.
Oh, speaking of bourbon, I had my first bourbon last night.
Oh, good.
Oh, what kind?
I don't know. I just knew it was brown.
Well,
that's a good start.
I would hope so.
It was brown.
If it's clear bourbon, someone is lying to you.
It was brown, and it was in a clear glass, and
really narrowing it down there, William.
And there was a piece of an orange turned upside down in the thing.
In the
And
bottle?
in the bottle, in the cup, in the glass cup. In the
Oh,
glass
Okay.
not in the bottle.
Okay.
And it wasn't a bottle. It was, I didn't see the bottle. Like, I never saw it. Like,
Oh, okay.
this pastor actually brings me out a drink. And
Pastor.
don't ask me the circumstances of why I was having a drink with the pastor. Okay.
Okay.
So
Not the same as priests.
I'm just kidding. Anyway, it was during a film shoot and he offered me a drink. So I said, oh, okay. And
Not gonna
I
ask what kind of
think
film.
he had like, there was ice in it. There was definitely ice in it. And I don't know if the glass was an illusion or if he did like the salt thing like you do with other drinks and martinis where you do like the salt thing.
Margarita.
Okay, I think that was the glass itself because I couldn't taste it. So I think that was the illusion of the glass.
Yeah,
So,
I hope so.
yeah,
Okay.
'cause
I
didn't
hope
taste
so
it.
because every single part of my body is just like recoiling in horror.
So I made it through halfway through the drink before I decided to put it down because I know I'm a lightweight and I can. And it's just if hot Cheetos make my tongue burn, I imagine what would happen if I were to gulp that down and that's my first bourbon. So yeah. I like how Jason's looking at me like, hot Cheeto makes your tongue burn, man. Remind me to never cook for you.
Look for me anytime.
Okay. But yeah. Okay, so back to Peanut Hamper. Okay. I don't know if I have a favorite scene. I can tell you definitely the most shocking scene was like, and maybe because I was going through and having like a slightly depressive moment anyway that I resonated with what's that Eagle man's name?
Rada?
Yeah, him. So
Hot dog.
I'm looking at these 20
wonderful hair.
I'm looking at these 20 consecutive seconds of this bird's heart being broken gradually as Peanut Hamper is literally treating it like a mine and just breaking it and breaking.
That was not okay.
And I was like, oh,
that was not okay.
You are hurt.
Rada deserves better.
Deserves so much better. Like what in the world? His father is watching all of this, and he showed you everything. For all I know, he probably gave you his virginity.
I thought it was crazy. They went with the robot sex with the sex.
Oh, we talked about that. We talked about that.
We did.
You know
we had that chat.
You know what? I'm going to throw this at him because I want to see if he can handle it. So, did I'm sorry.
Keep in mind, Peanut Hamper can create any tool needed.
I know.
Including a beak for the wedding.
I know. I like it. The beak for the wedding was what got me. I was just like, I can't even.
Just anyway. So did Peanut Hamper and Eagle Dude really have sex, or was it glorified masturbation?
I am not going to be able to put this episode on the magazine.
If they're two conscious beings, then I think it's sex.
Okay. So because she's a machine and she was playing him, it's not masturbation. It's just manipulation.
I mean, if you do it with a horse, that's still sex. It's not masturbation.
Okay, good point. You know.
And once again, this episode goes sideways.
I threw that at Marie just to see if I could break her brain. I almost succeeded. And then I said, we're 24 minutes in, we need something to talk about.
I thought it was hilarious when he was like, I'm gonna sing for you. And she's like, yeah. He's like, oh. That was hilarious. I think
I want to sing to you. Please sing for me. Oh my God! Stop that! What are you doing?
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, just
she had some gloriously great lines, but I lost it. I grow a effing beak.
Right.
I mean, I think Peanut Hamper, besides Mariner, drops the most F-bombs per minute.
Why did they make her such a bad character?
I mean, and you got an asshole in every bunch. I mean, and that's fine. But Marie said something earlier that was really spot on. I feel is that kind of glad that they didn't go the whole indigenous life Federation save superhero type shit day and whatever.
Behind the story.
Yeah. Usual story. Well, this one is like you think this is a redemption story when really she's just a fucking bitch.
It's an attempted redemption.
I mean, but it's
story.
not her redemption.
Right. There's
It's
no
not her.
redemption at all. So where did the title come from?
Honestly, I think it had everything to do with Rada and Rada's arc when, because Kalturis wasn't super sure that Rada was going to be able to lead the people after his death. And then, all of a sudden Rada's like, all right, I got this. And like activates the 1,000-year-old mothership and is just like, I'm going to bring it.
Yeah, if he would have said "caca, bitch," it would have worked perfectly.
I know, right? Yeah, I know. That would have been amazing.
You definitely need like channel Jesse Pinkman there. It would have been great.
But yeah, I think that's what that was. And so, it's kind of this interesting bait and switch where you think it's a peanut hamper story, and it is, but it's also an Aurora story. How do they pronounce that again? Arior story.
I thought he was cute. I just heard his voice and I just heard his heart break, and I was like, man.
Yeah, that was awful. And if Lower Decks could never do that to me again, that'd be great.
Let me look. Hold on.
Harry Shum Jr. is the voice actor. Let's see. Also known for, this is his first Star Trek appearance.
I thought they were gonna try and tie it to like the who were the
Crazy people? Rich Asians, Charlie Wu. Also Mike Chang on Glee.
Who were the bird people on Enterprise that were long dead?
We had bird people.
Yeah. Yes, the Zindi. The
Zindi.
I thought they were.
I thought the
they
avians. Were kind of a Zindi there. The avians, yeah.
No, man. I mean, I keep looking at that, and that like his outfit is like epic 70s animation.
Yes.
Right. I mean, that could be Space Ghost. That could be
Ghost Dog. What's the dude's name? Space Ghost. Space Ghost type shit.
Yeah.
Okay. I see.
And then I really love the fact that all of it's in eggs.
Yeah.
Oh, I
didn't like the whole ship design is egg.
I was kind of curious. Well, you know what? No, they answered it. Never mind. I was wondering how they knew what a machine was, but never mind. They totally explained that.
They already knew what a machine was.
Like I mean, this was almost Moana-esque, right? Like
yeah.
It felt like now that I think about it, ships, cave, no technology, band, got it. Okay.
The fact that Kalturis knew that she needed to repower to power back up. That should have been a hint that he knows technology to a degree, but she completely over her head.
Well, I mean, it went over her head that, if you send out a communique to someone, 9 times out of 10, they are going to record the shit. Like,
that was great that they recorded.
Right? And then they're like, wait a minute, you don't believe us? I got receipts.
They're like, we were told to come down and get this because it was trash, and then you would just give it to us. That's what we were told.
And I think, wasn't it the person who voiced Martok that was the
J.G. Hertzler? Yep.
I like how they managed to keep his look, even though he's like every single time he plays different species, he keeps that general like
he lost an eye again.
Right?
I'm like, what? Like,
because after we saw him in last season, we saw him this time. He has the scar over the eye, and then at the end of the episode, he's completely lost the eye and lost the tooth as well.
It would be funny if they just keep putting him in different roles and just keep taking his eye away.
Yeah,
like kind of like Kenny.
Yeah, or Mark Hamill.
That's some meta shit, guys. Like we're gonna take this voice actor. And we're going to keep him reappearing in the same guise.
So, Jason, where do you think that after this episode that Peanut Hamper will go, or potentially will go, if we see her again in the future?
So first of all, it seemed like this episode did not progress the storyline of Lower Decks like at all, right?
At all.
So
it did.
If they do it, I said do. If they do it,
we're adults.
If they do it.
I'm like Chandler. It will be an episode where all of those computers that were there have gotten together to become some sort of nemesis of the
Skynet thing.
And I love one of those
episode.
computers continues to has the CBS symbol.
Right.
Oh, the CBS symbol was still there, locked up.
Yep.
I was waiting for Hal to show up, but he didn't.
Yeah, because Hal showed up the first time.
Yeah, Hal was there the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we didn't get to see. Well, you know what? I'm gonna have to pause it and actually get a good look. But
I watch it on a super tiny screen, so
speaking of
I have no
Paramount,
idea.
I do have a question. So they removed the Star Trek movies from Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
Why?
Did they? I didn't know
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Apparently
As of the beginning of this month, all of the Star Trek original movies, the Kelvin ones are still there, but
So
all
what
the
through
others,
six?
well, all the way up to the one that shall not be named.
What's
the
the-
original movie.
What's the point?
They
That's,
said,
that's why you get Paramount to get all
Yeah.
of Star Trek video.
but they are nowhere. They aren't on any streaming service right now because they used to be on Netflix. Then
Right,
they
and
were on
then they
Hulu.
moved.
They are nowhere right now.
You know
Now-
what? And that's fine because I own a DVD copy of
Yeah.
each of them. And that's fine. But
Yeah,
I
I
still
have DVD and I have Vudu, so yeah.
I still feel insulted. I think a lot of us feel insulted because I read the comments. The majority of Trekkers and Trekkies have DVD copies or VHS copies. If they're lucky,
Right.
they have the VHS copies with the ship in front of it. But anyway, so which is fantastic. I need to find that. But that said, it's still insulting because we've been playing hot potato with these streaming services for like the last 7 years, and it's getting ridiculous.
Right. And so it's just like, why are you taking this content?
Keith,
Like, this
Keith,
does not make sense.
do you know why they're doing that at all?
They haven't given a reason from the articles I've been reading.
It's a rights issue. Even though Paramount Plus is both on, you had the two companies come back together and you had the
Right, they
rebranding
came
of
back
Paramount
together,
Plus.
right?
The rights should be entirely within the current new company's realm. Apparently, they still are tied to the same time frame that they were when they were being auctioned to Netflix and Hulu and all the others. So they haven't said when they will be back, but they will be back at some point. For now, all the series are still on Paramount Plus. So we still have.
So wait a minute, like they're tied to the same time frame? I mean, the new company is a successor in interest. So all of the assets of the original company should pass through to the successor in interest.
A grandfather there.
It should be, yes.
So like I'm not understanding this time frame situation.
When they auctioned off the rights before CBS All Access was even a thing, before there was the CBS app that was before it, you had the certain time frame that they were available on the different streaming services.
Yes.
And from what I could tell, and none of the articles actually covered this, but from just my own research, since Paramount Plus officially launched and had everything Star Trek, all the movies, all the series, everything, to this point is that same length of time that they were on Netflix, that they were on Hulu.
You saying that it's been that long already?
Yes.
So I guess my question to you is why does that matter?
I thought they had it when they had it after the merger happened, then they had it.
Yeah.
Well, the question is, are they the sole owner of the rights?
Sorry, I was on the phone.
What was
Again, yeah, I mean that is an interesting question, right?
Okay,
Whatever interests that CBS and Paramount would have had should theoretically have vested in the new company as the successor in interest of the assets of both of those companies.
I think what a lot of us were hoping for was, and I can't speak legalese, but it's like as far as when the merger happened, a lot of us were hoping that everything would have been hashed out and done. But now it's like I won't say we're back at square one because they didn't take all the movies down, but the fact that they took the originals down, it makes me wonder. Okay, is there another timeline thing about the TNG films or the Kelvin timeline films that we don't know about? That we need to know about?
If there is a rights holder that is separate from CBS and Paramount, then maybe.
Gene Roddenberry dead, so I don't know.
But no, all of everything from Gene was passed into the Roddenberry Foundation, currently under the operation of Eugene Roddenberry, Rod Roddenberry Jr.
Which I'm very glad that it stays in the family, but
yes.
but I'm confused.
All his rights that he owned moved into that company as part of the deals that when the movies were made and everything, he had the rights in perpetuity.
Okay.
Did he? Because I actually wondered if they were considered works for hire, in which case Paramount and CBS would own them in totality.
The only thing I've heard that could question that is when they were drafting the documents for the Next Generation, at the last minute, as they were signing the documents, Gene's lawyer erased the Next Generation from the document. So he still had his rights for control of the Next Generation, but because they erased Next Generation, that also restored his rights to the original and the animated series.
That would make some sense. That would make some sense because assuming that the studio signed it, that alteration would be binding.
Yeah, and that was allowed them to be able, because they're told that there were certain things that they would not be able to bring back from the original series, but because they made that small change, all of a sudden everything was open to them. But yeah, so all the movies are on.
Regardless, it's stupid.
Yeah. It is.
Trust Jason to get at the heart of it.
You advertise that you are the home of Star Trek. Everything Star Trek. You are Star Trek. You've built your streaming service on the back of Star Trek. And now you don't have 20 hours of Star Trek content, including
that's what I'm saying.
It's like, right, and it's not like the stuff that we don't go back and watch, right? Like, I mean, come on. I mean, who's not picking up Star Trek 6 or going back to 4? I mean, I am clearly going back to 4
or Contact.
Definitely, it's
Contact.
This means I'm gonna have to find. This means I'm gonna have to find a DVD player, y'all.
I still got one under my TV right there, and a VHS. It's a VHS and DVD player.
So I have one, but I also have twin whirling dervishes that managed to destroy it.
Yeah.
Sound like you need to initiate some whoopings in that house.
I like how you chose the word initiate. Like,
this is computer initiate whooping protocol.
Whooping
McCammon Beta 9.
McCammon Beta 9. Okay. We have successfully again managed to stray away from Peanut Hamper, and that's fine because I did it too. Yeah. Go ahead. Please.
I was just gonna say this episode reminded me of the 5th season episode of Next Generation, First Contact, not the movie, but it was in which it was told almost entirely from the perspective of a race about to achieve world power.
We did an FTP episode about that.
Yeah.
Wait, which one? That wasn't
it was
season 1, episode 5.
This season, Next Gen.
It was the cousins of the Vulcans. And they were like,
no. That was that's something different. That's Who Watches the Watchers.
But you had George Coe as the leader of this planet. You had BB Newworth as the smallest, most. Why is that their part?
The teacup crazy bitch lady. Yeah, I remember her from Voyager. She replied.
The ones that didn't have like the fingers.
Yeah, they had. They only had 3 fingers.
The reason I remember her is because she was like the crazy bitch in Voyager that tried to cut Janeway. Like she was Mrs. Templeton in Voyager on the holiday.
Oh,
and the rest of us are like, it was Lilith.
And
different.
And she was a Romulan twice.
Oh, wait, that was season 1. That couldn't have been season 1.
Season 5.
Oh, you said season 5. That's why I was confused. Okay, I know what you're talking about now.
But yeah, no, it's the one where Riker gets hospitalized, and that's how the entire planet discovers there are aliens, and it just all kind of spirals out of control.
And it was one of those cases of, we're going to take this person with us from that planet, but you'll never see her again.
Right.
And neither were we. Yeah, we never.
She's like Jillian Taylor.
I mean, it would be real interesting to really have some episodes about them being the first, leading another species into space, being the Vulcans, being the first contact for another species, and leading them into space. I apologize.
It's season 4, episode 15, season 4, First Contact.
But the name is First Contact, regardless. Yeah. And Riker had the whole Farid business.
Yeah.
And the
Well,
hands,
yeah.
But all right, we
the hands that
are.
could not do technical work.
They could
There's
not.
no way those people are doing technical work with those hands
They could
at
not.
all.
But all right, folks, we are at the hour mark. So, final thoughts? Fair.
It was a good episode, but yeah, it was.
It was.
And now for something completely different.
It was like a comic one shot,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it wanted to be Rick and Morty, but it wasn't.
Right. So when I grade movies and I give it a 7, maybe a low 8, I call them sandwich movies, which means I won't go out of my way to watch them, but if it just happens to be on, I will sit down with my sandwich and watch it. Like so
I
I call this a sandwich episode. I'm not going to turn the channel, but I'm not going to go out of my way to look for this particular episode. So even though it has a distinct episodic feature to it, which is okay, and it's like almost like a spin-off type-ish thing, like what happened from season 1. And I appreciate all of that.
I don't know, man. Like it scratched my Thundercats itch.
Well, like I had mentioned, we had the comic series Star Trek Mirror Wars comic series that just ended. It had 4 one-shots that took single characters and had their own individual storyline as part of it. There was Data, Geordi, Ben Sisko, and Troy. And so what was considered an 8-issue series was actually, with those one-shots and issue 0, is actually 13 in all. So I consider this sort of like a one-shot as part of the regular Lower Decks series. So.
Oh, last question. Did anyone notice any and all Easter eggs in this particular episode?
I mean, other than the ones we've mentioned.
That's what I'm saying.
I noticed actual eggs.
Yeah, we have our xenomorph looking eggs right here. Like
seriously, this should have been an Easter episode.
I mean, we have literal eggs. Yeah, there's that.
Oh, I didn't notice a lot of Easter eggs in this. So
yeah, you had a mention of the Aurelians. You had the reference Easter eggs for non-Star Trek things, because you had Sophie instead of Wilson, as I mentioned.
But yeah, like I actually like that we didn't have them. I really like that this was not a reference-heavy episode, because it just sort of demonstrates that Lower Decks is capable of bringing the humor without relying on previous canon.
You like that, Murray?
Is Sophie a volleyball company?
No.
Oh.
Well, there was like a tennis ball bit where it was just boringly throwing tennis balls out of nowhere in her room. Like, what do I do?
She kept on replicating tennis balls and launching them, and then being surrounded by them. Yeah.
I think that Eagle dude is omnisexual, because it's like, if you think about it, Peanut Hamper can turn into anything and use anything and replicate.
I'm gonna stop you right now. Stop you right now. And you know what we're gonna do?
No, I thought what I thought they were gonna do was, I thought Peanut Hamper was they had an angle and they had him, and Peanut Hamper was in front.
I need y'all to stop. Like, where is this ending?
Where's
this ending?
Can I talk about something serious and completely left field away from what we're talking about here? This weekend I'm doing a charity walk on the National Mall, Walk to End Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is the 6th leading cause of death amongst Americans. I've been walking for years. My grandfather died from Alzheimer's. I've lost several family members, and so I've been doing this walk for years, and my daughters will be walking with me. So if you're looking for a charity support, definitely check out the Alzheimer's Association, and we'll be walking on the National Mall this Saturday morning.
And if you give us your information, we'll try to put it in all the social media outlets.
Cool.
We'll do.
All right.
I think that's it, and it's been great. It's been interesting. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not going to ever say it on the internet. Yeah, never. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Wait. There was a shadow of a church.
Yeah,
Wait. Where's this ending? Where?
yeah.
Where? Where's this ending? Where? 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 Where
Okay. What?
William has
Okay,
questionable
I didn't
ideas
catch
about
that
what he
one.
puts.
I didn't
William
catch
has
that
questionable ideas about what he puts on the internet.
Oh, I remember that episode.
Uh-huh.
I remember that episode. Yeah.
Wait, what?
We put on an audio version of this podcast.